Hello, 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 hello. Y'all come on in. Let me fix my stuff up. How y'all doing? How you doing? Hello, come on in. Come on in. Let's talk today. I want to talk about leaving bad relationships. Hello, good evening. Good evening. How you all doing? Woody, how you doing? Tim, how you doing? Speaking Life. Hey, Saini, how you doing? Come on in. Let me know who you are. Tell me where you guys are joining in from. I love to know. Good, good, good. Hey, Damar, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining in. Today we're going to talk some good stuff. So stay with me for a moment. Just let me get 20 people in here and then I'm going to get started. So, hey, from Kansas City. All right, Kansas City. I love it. From Wisconsin. Thank you so much. I am absolutely amazing, Delmar. Thank you so much for asking. Come on, Miss Trudy. Come on, Bear's Dad. Come on, Jimmy. Come on in. Let me know where you are. I got 7 more people that I'm going to get in here, and then I'm going to get started. Thank you, Big Mama, for stepping in. Thank you, Luther, Marcus. Hello, Wavy from Barbados. All right, from Virginia, Delmar. Thank you so much. We got 710 Skirt, Justin, come on in. 5 more people and then let's get started. We got Pennsylvania. Thank you so much. Who else is out there? Let me know. 6 more people. All right, we're dropping out. Come on now. All right, 3 more people and then I'm going to get started. Come on in, Vanessa. Thank you so much. 2 more people from Eastern Europe. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining me. Thank you so much, Malik. Hey, Gina, come on. All right, we got 23 people on. Y'all stay with me. Today we're going to talk about where you need to leave that person right where they are. You know, you've been in a relationship before and it was a real bad one, and you seem to still be walking around with that same person. And I'm going to tell you how you're doing that. And so if for anybody that doesn't know who I am Coach Michelle Monet. I'm a certified life professional and relationship coach. My niche is relationships. I love people. I love relationships. I love making sure that they are healthy. I love making sure that they know how to respond to each other. We have not been taught how to relate to each other. We have not been taught how to have relationships. What we tend to do is skip through them. We tend to flip through them, trip over them. And that's how we end up in relationships. And we end up making a lot of mistakes. And for y'all that don't know me, y'all can go back and check out my videos of who I am. And then I'm not going to let anybody else come in. This is my first live, so I'm going to do this one by myself. But in the future, I'll possibly do that. I want to make sure that we set a foundation before I start doing that. So one of the things that people tend to not do is they tend to not take time to grieve. You have to understand that you cannot get through a bad relationship, right? And you're trying to save your marriage. Has to be something with a joint venture between you and your partner, you and your wife, you and your husband, how that goes. The thing is that people think that if one party is not willing, that you just giving it up, and you don't have to necessarily give up the hope if that other person. What you just have to do is worry about how you're going to deal with yourself. And then if you shift, then it's a possibility for them to shift. But when you get into the place where you're not spending time in grieving, not spending time in understanding what that grief is, then people tend to stay stuck. There's so many times people are in that situation where they've just broken up, they get bitter, they get angry, they become callous, they become get in a situation where they just don't feel like, I'm done, I'm not dealing with nobody else, I don't want another relationship, I'm out of here, right? But that's because they haven't taken the time and going through go through the process that it needs to go through in order to make sure that you're healing. The second thing people tend to do is they try to think that they can become friends with that person. They don't want to get rid of the contact. And that contact is not just talking to that person every day. That contact is not just texting them just to see how you're doing. There is no reason in the world that if you had a bad breakup with somebody, that you need to be reaching out to them, talking about, well, I just want to see how you doing. For what? It's not that you're mean, not that you're being a butt, not that you're doing any of those types of things, but it's no reason for you to reach out to them or even them reaching out to you just to check on you. You good. And you're going to be better when you heal from that process. And that process has to go through that grieving. And you cannot grieve with somebody in your face, in your ear, on your text message or anything like that, in your messages, in your DMs, and you walking past them. You will never get through that process. Grieving takes you through a 5-step process. Now I'll talk about that on another live, but there's a process. I don't care where you start in the process. It doesn't necessarily have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you're going to go through all 5 of them. And if you haven't hit all 5 of them, you're not done. And you have to go through all of them in order for you to completely heal yourself through that, so that you can really be whole. Just give you a little bit about me. I went through relationship after relationship after relationship and just jumped into one. Because, they used to tell us back in the day, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. That is the worst thing that you can possibly ever do if you really want to get healed over a relationship. How long do you keep hope but nothing change? You know what? As long as you have breath in your body, you keep hope. Because I'm going to tell you something. Relationships, finding the one, because you just need one. Think about it. There are 7-point-something billion people on this earth, but you just need one. You don't need 5 and 10. You just need one. Even if you went through 5 or 6 relationships, which the average person in a lifetime only has about 5 relationships, 5 real good relationships. So most people, they get hurt 2 or 3 times and they're like, done, I'm not doing this no more. And I get it. I understand. I've been there, right? I'm telling y'all read my book. Y'all grab my book on my site, CoachMichelleMonet.com, Rejection Saved My Life. You'll understand what I'm talking about. And I still have a knowledge that love is beautiful. The relationship that I'm in, I know that it's beautiful, and I don't care. I know that love is risky, and I'm going to keep it. I don't care, because I understand that the rewards of love is so much greater than the pain that you can get caused. I don't know who you is, but you made my heart jump. Oh, I hope that's a good thing. But you really have to go through these processes. The next thing you really need to pay attention to, a lot of times people temporarily forget why they broke up with the last person, with this bad relationship. And because somebody might reach out, I'm just trying to see how you're doing, just checking on you and trying to, all of these things. And it makes you feel good in the moment. So you forget, like, why was I not with them? Why did we break up in the first place? And then you end up back wound up again emotionally in this person. Thank you so much. I'm glad that I'm making you smile. And 16 years and I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Delmar. That is beautiful, because we need to see the longevity of relationships in this day and time, because a lot of people are not making it. They're not making it because they are not doing the work. See, this is one. Let me insert this really quickly before I go on to my next points. Relationships are work. Don't think that you're just gonna get into a relationship and there's not gonna be any conflict, because you're gonna have conflict. If you're in a relationship with no conflict, I'm gonna tell you what's not happening. You're not having sex. Yep, I said it. If you're not having conflict, you're not passionate, you're not intimate, you're not doing something. So do not try to avoid conflict. Don't try to avoid it. Learn how to manage it. When you learn how to manage the conflict, that's when you win. That's when you get it right? Me and my boyfriend of a year ended last Friday, but we had been friends for 8 years. Maybe you pushed a friendship that was just supposed to be a friendship. Because sometimes we put ourselves in relationships and we're not even supposed to be in relationships. We're just supposed to be friends with that person. I've been with my wife for 33 years and I'm married for 10. She never wants to talk about us and growth. Why does that frighten her? There's something about that frightens her, that makes her feel nervous about that. That's the only thing that I can think of. If you've been with her that long and she doesn't want to talk about that, something makes her nervous. And so you got to find out what that is. We're always going to keep learning, Delmar, in our relationships. I don't care how long we've been together with them. There's always learning until you take your last breath. If you're not learning your mate, if you're not studying your partner, you're going wrong already. How do you process a situationship? A situationship, I've never been on one, but I really like him. I think you need to clarify a little bit. How do you process the situation? I'm not sure what you're asking. I wish I had kept it a friendship because I lost a best friend in relationship. Yeah. And sometimes that happens. We push it further than it needs to go. Sometimes we don't need it to go further than it needs to go. We have to make sure that we're not placing, you got to be mindful. Every relationship that you're in is not for a relationship. It's not. And you got to know what that is. You got to know what the signs are. So the next thing that people do when they are in these bad relationships and they're not able to move forward is they shut down. They go into recluse and they decide that I'm done. Who wants to live this life alone? I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how many degrees you got. I don't care how much stuff you got. You get to the top and you realize you're there by yourself. Who you gonna share it with? Who are you gonna enjoy it with? Who are you gonna look over and say to them and go, man, we made it. We got here. Do you remember all the things we went through to get here? When are you gonna get there? When are you gonna be able to say that? You're not gonna be able to say that. Because guess what? If you try to find somebody after you get there, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to trust them because you're not going to know if they're there for what you have or for who you are, right? So the next thing is you try to feel that bad feeling. And I think I mentioned that earlier with somebody else, the wrong thing. When you bring somebody, let me tell you this. If you bring somebody else into your feelings from the bad feelings without healing, you're doing yourself and that new person a disservice. It's not fair, because what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up pointing your fingers towards them on the things that they're doing, and you're going to compare it to what the other person did. And that's not fair. You wouldn't want it done to you, right? So you really have to not do it to other people. And this is a really good point right here. Most people do not find the lessons in what they have gone through. Most people want to just talk about how bad the person was and how they hated that person, or they wish they were never in a relationship with that person, or I can't stand them and I'll never get into another relationship again, and I'm sick of all this, and why does this keep happening to me? And find out why it keep happening to you. Find out what are the lessons that you need to learn, because guess what? Let me give you one key that you need to remember about relationships for the rest of your life. Relationships are designed by the Creator, all types, to find out what's in you. I'll say it again. Relationships are designed to figure out what's in you. You might be like, so it's my fault that we broke up, or it's my fault that they was at butt, or it's my fault that they was like this. No, it's not your fault. But how much patience do you have? How much long suffering do you have? How much grace do you have? How much mercy do you have? How much kindness do you have? All of those things are designed to figure that out. Now, it doesn't feel good, some of the things that you go through to figure those things out, but that is what it is. You have to confront that situation and then make a choice. If you're speaking coach and you did wrong, if you're speaking coach and you wrong, will you do apologize? I'm not sure what you're saying. Repeat, fix that for me and let me know. But you gotta really understand that you gotta find out what those lessons are. Let me tell you the number one reason why. One, so that you can become better and it doesn't happen again. If you don't learn the lesson, you're going to repeat it. You're going to go through it again. It's going to happen, I promise you, again. And then what you're going to do is think, why do I keep running into the same type of dude? Why? Oh, I apologize all the time. I have no problem with being wrong. None. And as a matter of fact, I'm not right all the time. Not at all. I'm still learning. I've been doing this for a very long time. I've been a coach and a mentor for a very long time. I am certified. I am degreed in adult education and development and training. So I know what I'm doing, but it doesn't mean that I'm always right. And I never want to say or act like I'm that. My wife keeps her volume turned down on her phone. I pray and trust God, but I'm stuck. Do I say or go? Her volume being turned down doesn't necessarily mean that she's doing something. Did you ask her? Why don't you outright ask her? See, this is the thing. Somebody said this to me the other day. We had a conversation, and I've been saying something similar to this, but when you hear it from somebody else, you go, "Ah, that was good." We're too grown to tiptoe around conversations. If you're over 30, shoot, I say over 25, because these millennials, they know what they want. Ask the question, baby, are you messing around on me? Simple. So that you don't, and then you know your partner, you know your wife, your husband, your mate, you know who they are. You know when they're lying, you know what doesn't feel good. Ask them, are you messing around? Is there anything that I need to do to make sure that you feel solid in this relationship? That's it. Ask. So you're not finding out the lessons. And if you're not finding out the lessons, you're going to repeat it all over again. You don't want to do that. Next, you want to make sure that you are forgiving yourself and the other person. She's on a date site and keeps her phone turned down and won't delete the app. So if she's on a dating site and you need to ask her, what does she want? What is she looking for? I mean, either that or you make a decision for yourself. I'll never tell somebody to leave their mate. I'll never, ever do that because I don't think that that is helpful. I don't care who you are. Even if you see somebody that you know is going through a hard relationship, you never tell them to leave because that will be just your voice in their head and it won't be theirs. They have to make that decision. It takes, and this is just statistics based off of women because this is the research I've done because of my niche. Even though I coach men and women and couples, my niche is women and couples. But it takes an abused person 7 times to say, I'm leaving, pack up and prepare to leave before they do it, before they actually leave. So they do all that 7 times before they pick up and go, I'm done. 7 times. They have said it either in their head, they've prepared for it, said it to a friend, they did something before they actually leave. So, but you got to make up in your mind, is that something that you want to be a part of? If it's not something that you want to be a part of, then you have to make the decision for you because you're the one that has to live with it. Okay. Let's go back to forgiving yourself and forgiving others. Some people may say, why do I have to forgive myself? I didn't do nothing. The moment that you're away from that person, the moment that you're not in a relationship with that person anymore, the first thing that's going to come out your mind is, how did I let this happen? How did I not see what they were doing? How did I ignore the signs? Why did I, what did I? It's going to be there. So in order for you to get through that, you have to say, you know what? I make mistakes. You know what? I don't always choose right. You know what? I didn't see healthy relationships when I was growing up. You know what? I did the best that I could. You know what? I gave them the benefit of the doubt. And for that, I forgive myself. For that, I'm going to be okay. For that, I'm not going to hold on to these grudges with myself any longer. And no, that's not the discussion I'm having right now. I'm actually going to talk about that another day. I'll probably come on tomorrow and talk about that. The topic right now is where are you? You know, like leaving the bad relationship. Where are you? We got to talk about where you are. A lot of times people want to go straight to the healing, but you got to find out where you are. In order for you to know that you're lost, you got to go, okay, looking around. This don't look familiar. I don't like this. I don't like that. Why am I here? Where am I? Let me figure out where really I am. Let me acknowledge where I am. And then you can move into the healing. I'm 50, I'll be 51 years old in December. So then you got to get to the place where you are forgiving that person. Now that may take a little bit more time, but you can start the process by saying it. Because the scripture says, a man is as so he thinks. And I'm paraphrasing. So as a man thinketh, so is he, is the scripture. Okay. So if you think forgiveness, you eventually get there. You'll get there. And tomorrow I'll talk about that in the steps of healing. I will come on and talk about that. I'm in recovery. I'm in the good place now. Good. I'm in recovery and I'm growing. I know my wife, but I don't know her. I see a lot now that I don't like. And I'm sure that you see a lot that you do like. So focus on what you do like. When you get to that place, and a lot of times people don't realize that you will get into a place. I don't care how blissfully beautiful, loving, and oh my God, I'm so in love. Oh, I just love them so much that you're going to get to the place where you're going to be looking at them like this. Why are you here? Didn't you just get up and go? Don't you got some friends? I mean, you ain't got nothing to do today. You will get to that place. I don't care how blissful you are. Tell me and I have plenty of friends who've been married for 20, 30, 40 years. And none of them can sell me any way, shape, or form that they have not gotten to that place. The co-host on my show that I do on Mondays, him and his wife have been married for 32 years. And there was a time when he would pull up to the house and she would get nauseous because she heard his car in the driveway. But they've been married for 32 years. And when I tell you they love each other dirty draws. But there was a time. So you got to know how to get through that. You got to know that for better or for worse means that you get through and you go through some muck and mire. You go through some crap. And if you think that you're going to get into a relationship and not go through some crap, think again, because you will. Some days you just don't like. You don't. You be looking at them, rolling your eyes. Why is he here? Why is she here? You know what? I'm leaving. Most marriages that have been together that long, they done broke up about 50 times, at least, minimum. Even if it was just in their head. Now I will say that the word divorce does not exist in my relationship. And if you want divorce to not exist in your relationship, then you make sure that you say that. Because you're going to go through some things. Get over that. Get over that. Number 8, you need to make sure that you value your alone time in order to get over this process. You got to value this time in getting through that, and getting through the process of going through the healing. You got to value who you are. You got to value getting to know yourself more, getting to know yourself again. Because if you do not, you're not going to get through it, and you're going to be bitter. You're going to be callous. You're going to become very critical and very cynical and all of those types of things. You say you feel like we are roommates. I'm the cook, maintenance man, daycare worker, the maid. I just want time. You should consider if she is available to sit and talk to me. I have a relationship strategy session, and I'll talk more about that tomorrow. But I have a strategy session that lets you know how to communicate effectively. It shows you what your communication styles are. It shows you where you're going wrong in communicating. It shows you where you're not listening and where you're not being heard. I have had 100% result rate on my relationship strategy session over the last 2 years. Been apart, you want time with you all. Yeah, I understand that. Been apart 2 years now. I'm over it. I understand. And if you have been apart that long and they're not trying to come back, are you married, Lord Compton? Are you married? So you got to value that alone time. So these are some things we talked about. We talked about with getting through the bad relationship so that you don't carry it into the next one. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about the healing steps. and how to go through those processes so that you can expedite it. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to go fast because you can't rush it, but you can at least start to recognize which step you're in. Am I in the denial stage? Am I in the stage of being angry? What stage am I in, so that I can recognize it? And what I recognize, I can start working on. And what I'm working on, I can get through faster. Okay. 15 years. Yeah. It's still, as long as the gavel hasn't gone down, my belief, I tell this to all of my clients, my belief, as long as the gavel has not gone down, you have a chance to make your marriage work. You got a chance. I don't want to walk away for the fact of my kids, but I'm very unhappy myself. I understand that. You got to find out what's going to make you happy. You got to find that out, because sometimes we're trying to make our partner make us happy, and you will never get that. They can add to your happiness, but you should not put the burden of your partner making you happy. If you're doing that, you're setting the whole relationship up for failure. They should not be making you happy. They should be adding to your happy of who you are. Thank you. Just this short time I've listened to you, and I'm glad that this has helped, Dixie. I'm glad. Literal gavel, and I'm talking about the literal gavel of at the courthouse when the divorce court says adjourned, or you are now divorced, or whatever they particular say, because they say different things. Or they, case number, whatever they say. When they put that gavel down while you're standing in the divorce court and they say you are now divorced, you now can get your papers and you can get your old name back. Until that is said, you can save your marriage. You can save it. Happiness comes from you. Absolutely. I feel like I'm just serving and not living, surviving and not living. And you know what? You got to find out what that looks like for you. You've got to find out what that looks like for you. You can, if somebody is allowing you to make them happy, you can also make them unhappy. And that's heavy. That's heavy. You can be a part of that. You can. And that's why I said, you should be adding to their happiness. You should not be the only and sure reason that they're happy. Because guess what? If you walk away, their whole life is, if you allowing somebody to do that for you, if they walk away, your happiness walks away with them. Your happiness walks away with them. It's the same thing as if you are allowing the person that you just broke up with to now dictate your future. Okay? For instance, I'll give you a perfect example. You break up with somebody, they've done you wrong. You meet somebody that happens to just look like them, or they hold a fork like them, or they walk like them, or they drive the same car, they work at the same place, and all of a sudden you're triggered. So now all of the decisions that you're making about this brand new person that has no idea who you are, it's like you sitting next to them. Scoot over. Okay. What? Okay, what I should say to this person? What should I think about this person? How should I feel about this person? You're getting their permission for everything that you do with the new person. You know how you're doing that? Subconsciously, because you haven't forgiven them. You are allowing them to make decisions for your future, your present relationship, and they're not even there. Because you have decided to hold on to all the bitterness, the anger, and all of the things they did to you, instead of saying, you know what, I'm free from you. I no longer allow you to live rent-free in my head, and I forgive you. Why? Not because I like you, but because I want to be free. And you no longer can hold me bondage. Bye. I love you. And I pray that you have the best life ever, and really mean it. I hold no grudges from anybody that has ever done anything to me. because they don't get to live rent free in my head. I'm not giving nobody that much power over me. There's a saying, he who angers you controls you like a puppet. I add that part, the puppet part. But he who angers you controls you. And I say like a puppet. Think of a puppet with the strings. Every time you're mad, every time they trigger you, every time all of those things, they controlling you. They got a remote control on your butt. Why? Haven't they done enough? Haven't they hurt you enough? Haven't they been in your life long enough to damage you in a way that you feel like a piece of you has been snatched out of your soul and you want it back? How dare they think that they can walk around with your soul in their pocket and you let them snatch it back by forgiving them? Snatch it back. I'll do a live on triggers. Maybe I'll do that the day after tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to talk about how to heal, the 5 steps in healing. And then I'll talk about triggers, because triggers are something else. You got to know what they are. You got to know what they are. You know, so you got to, I don't know how to go back. This is my first live, y'all. So I don't know how to go back up to the comments. So I'm sorry if I missed anything. But I hope that this helped. Some people, let me know if this helped. If there's anything that you want me to talk about, go ahead and you can post it under the comments in any of the videos. I read all of my comments. I attempt to read them every day. You know, if there's some, you know, because I know you can scroll down on videos and I get so far and I can't see anything else. But if I have time in my day, I try to go through each video that I've posted for that day to look at all the comments and try to respond to as many as I possibly can. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I need to know how to heal. Thank you. Yes, it did help. I will continue to watch you. Thank you so much, Dixie girl. I like that. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, come tomorrow around the same time. I'm going to talk about the 5 steps in healing. And I'll talk about that and give you guys some real insight on that, because and I'll give you all a little bit of my testimony on why I know that the steps and the processes that I use in my coaching work, because you're looking at her and you're looking at her work. Why is everything I see about narcissist gaslighting? I don't know. I didn't talk about narcissist or gaslighting, because I'll tell you what, and you probably haven't seen any. You've seen gaslighting on my page, but I haven't really talked about narcissists. I mean, I'll tell you why. I am a candidate for a marriage and family therapist licensure. Okay, and in that process, I'm a candidate because I have to go through 1,500 hours of what do they call it? Basically shadowing somebody. Gone through the process, now I have to go through the shadowing. And in the process of my licensure, we know that narcissists have to be diagnosed clinically. We put out the word narcissistic behaviors and narcissists and all these things because we all have narcissistic behavior. Everybody does. Nobody is exempt from that. But we put that out like it's just something to just give out like candy, but it has to be diagnosed. So I don't really talk about that because I think that we utilize that word way too freely. Is it okay for a man to cry when absent? Man, if you want to cry, men cry, real men cry. How's that? Real men cry. We have been taught. Women have been taught wrong. Men have been taught wrong. We have been taught a whole bunch of bad things. You have been created by a creator that was emotional. God is emotional. So how can it be that the man, that the creator that created you will tell you that you can't be? I'll tell you something. When I first started my my practice, my coaching practice, I taught a class on how to master your emotions. Now I still teach that. I'm going to talk about that process, Andre, tomorrow. Tomorrow, same time, around 7 o'clock. I'm going to talk about that process of healing. Absolutely, Jesus wept. So when I first started my practice, my coaching practice, I still teach this. I'll say this. I still teach the class called Master Your Emotions, right? And in that class, when I initially first started, I was telling people, don't be emotional. Don't be emotional. Don't be emotional. It's not that we don't need to be emotional. We need to be a master of our emotions so that we know how to work them so that they don't work us. Okay. I'll tune in tomorrow. Love your approach. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine up. Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate that. Blessings back to you. And so we got to really, you're welcome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. You all tell other people to come on that you might need that may need to hear this. I don't know how to share this. I don't know if it stays. This is my first live, y'all. So y'all be patient with me. Thank you so much for being in the number. I appreciate that. I really want to be here to help. So that's what I'm doing. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So listen, it's 8 o'clock now. I'm going to head on out of here. I will see y'all tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Talk to y'all later. Bye.